What is up, DTube, Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about the topic that LCKJ talked about on Steam blockchain 2 days ago, and that was about peer pressure on social media. And this is a very, very interesting topic, I find, because after you tried superior social media, it is it's quite an experience to go back, and it's quite an experience to go back and forth between the superior new social media, where you see sort of how it actually should be, and then go back to the old ones: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It feels it feels strange, and it is a bit strange also how it's almost impossible to sort of get people to try something new, mainly because it's still a bit too complex, the new media. With the blockchain stuff, it has to become easier. People need to have latest technology because people are still running on old smartphones, or maybe they can't afford a great computer or something like that. So this is really like, and it's also that people want to hold on to their cocoon that they sort of have built up, and that also slows things down a lot. So the peer pressure is so intense on social media, where there is this sort of group consensus for the status quo, for how things should be, how a person should be, and people don't really like when things don't fit into that puzzle sort of framework, because the status quo there is a lot where, okay, we don't want to rock the boat, we don't want to make any dramatic changes here. And it's also very weird when you don't have proof of brain, because there's no filtering, it's just the algo. And even with the algorithm, a very, very strange thing about the algorithm is it's not even chronological. It is just the algorithm just decides what you see so much, so you have no clue how it works. And just because there's such a lack of respect from the private companies, these different private companies that exist, that decides who gets an account, just because there's so much lack of respect already over there, where you're not really earning anything, and you feel annoying not just that you're not earning, that also that you're seeing annoying ads and that someone is sort of selling your data. A lot of this sort of affects it, where people where you if it fuels on top of this even more that humans are scammy, and it sort of sinks into the whole platform, and it also affects how people, when people trying to network on these social medias, it affects that as well. And it just slows down communication so much. So, and it's as I talked about in the past, it also makes it so spreading even good information, a lot of people don't even care, because you get these pools of well, what these networks are creating in many ways is an incentive to sort of who can be the most fake and who can sort of be the most drama queen, and we're just gonna feed that, and we're just gonna pull most people to those directions. So if these people are taking this in, and then they're seeing someone that's more authentic and more real, they are not in that, not to sound too pseudoscience, but they are not in that vibrational state where they can take in that sort of authentic uniqueness. It has diminishing returns then on those sort of platforms. So this is quite well. Yeah, it does create massive peer pressure then, and nobody really wants to do anything that stands super much out or anything like that, because they're not really getting rewarded for it. I mean, they're not really, yeah, they're not really getting any feedback from it. People don't really like, people are too dead serious on the old sort of social medias, and it really creates this dry place, and it is a bit it's a bit fascinating to observe in some ways, but it also is kind of boring how it has to go on for so long without any innovations. I mean, you can clearly see on these platforms that they probably have some top-down agenda to not innovate too much, and it's almost as like something is sort of slowing down innovation, and and people, of course, starting to notice this more and more and more, and you really started to notice it, especially 2019, that a lot of people now mainly are looking at those platforms more as parody platforms, where it's almost like they're trying to rock the boat on purpose now, just so we can move on to something that is more adult-like and treating people more with respect. Something with a blockchain, something that's even more transparent, something with some financial system that just gives people so much more incentive to be their best. And I think that that's really, really key. Be their best, because if people just try a little bit more, everyone has probably something unique and something interesting of value to sort of add. And it's nice with these new platforms where peer pressure doesn't really have to be a thing. I mean, I do understand that it can still be a thing, but at the same time, on the new platforms, people are sort of having a more deeper understanding of society, and a kind of shared experience of, let's say, the struggle of like trying to become better with proof of brain. And when they sort of go through that process, they can sort of understand more what others are going through if they're also sitting on a blockchain, compared to the peer pressure on those other platforms where it's way more scarcity, way more scarcity, where people can't even imagine something as a token or something as a blockchain, and they don't even have a concept for that. And that's something that I think that most people are not even aware of, even in the blockchain space, that most regular people, they don't even have a concept of a token or of a blockchain or a global identity, or something that's decentralized. They haven't really, most people haven't really dived that, or haven't gone into the forest that deep. Oh, so maybe because they're less, most people are probably not like super intellectual, they're more emotional based. But people that are more intellectual, they probably went deeper into the forest and sort of saw, wait a sec, we sort of have to figure out how to sort of redesign a lot of stuff. And then they found the blockchain, these stuff way quicker. But massive peer pressure on those old platforms. It's like a parody, and I don't think they're gonna hang around for so long, because if they keep going into that direction where people just becoming more serious, or the quality of the stuff there, that people are not having fun anymore, then people eventually going to find something that's way more cool, where people are just friendly, where there is money involved, where everyone is earning. Even though we have been using those buzzwords on the blockchain a very, very long time, it actually probably will turn more and more into a reality. And um, and that's going to be cool to see, because we don't want to have this weirdness with massive peer pressure. We want people to be able to be exactly who they are, their own unique human being. And it takes a little bit of consideration from a person to sort of realize that we may be not interested that much in what kind of vanity thing you're doing, but we're more interested in you as a human being. And if you can offer some unique perspective, doesn't have to be massively unique, but it's kind of cool to see a human being, because most people are not really human beings. They're just weird thoughts or some crazy emotions. Little awareness, but yeah, peer pressure massive on the old platforms, and now we are moving away from that. And that's going to be quite awesome, where people can just be kind. I want to see more of that. Yeah, have a great day, YouTube and Steam Blockchain.